I'm going to get top performance from this new supplier. I've really focused on clearly communicating our expectations.
Okay, so getting more from your suppliers is about managing the relationships ongoing, but a good scope of work is a strong foundation. A scope of work is a complete and accurate statement of what you need from a supplier and a description of the work to be performed under that agreement. It's broken into specific tasks and deadlines to be met and is clearly written so that both parties understand their responsibilities.
So you can also have a statement of work and specifications for similar purposes.
Yes, a statement of work describes in detail the activities, deliverables, and timeline that must be performed for specific works. It's usually incorporated into or attached to a contract. And specifications can be performance-based, technical, or a combination of both. It outlines the particular needs to be satisfied or the essential characteristics required, and it's usually written in a way to measure the degree of conformance. For now, we'll focus on developing the scope of work, but there are similar aspects.
I guess we need to understand why a scope of work is important. Let's break it down and look at what constitutes a good SOW and what constitutes a bad one. A good scope of work clearly states requirements and identifies any risks and who will bear them. It enables an assessment of performance and final completion under the contract. While it doesn't include legal terms and conditions, it does address what is needed, why, when and where it's needed, who needs to be involved, and how the contract performance will be judged.
You can probably imagine what a bad scope of work is like.
A bad SOW doesn't answer the all-important who, what, where, when, how and why questions. It doesn't have clear definitions of terms. It lacks KPIs and how they will be measured or monitored. Basically, it's incomplete.
And that's just the start. Getting it wrong will cost you time and money, and this can have a domino effect. One small change which leads to another and another.
We could call that scope creep.
It is known as scope creep, and it means additional expenses, often unbudgeted. Unclear requirements damage supplier relationships and can start a battle of disputes, and even worse, end in litigation. Add increased risk, legal exposure, and unhappy management into the mix, and you end up with a lot more problems than just not getting what you want. So, your efforts to get it right up front will be rewarded.
Remember, a scope of work is the most important part of the contract as it clearly defines what you want. As always, input from stakeholders and suppliers will clarify expectations.